Hello, I'm Adrian. We've just released here at Hasura the Snowflake connection capabilities with the Hasura GraphQL data connector. And in that, you'll be able to connect to your Snowflake warehouse or your data lakes. You know, whatever you have back there, you'll be able to connect and see it via a GraphQL API simply by pointing Hasura at your instance and selecting the tables, and boom, you're good to go. Also, we connect to things like Amazon Athena, Postgres, SQL Server, among many other databases and data sources that are getting added all the time, just like we've added the Snowflake capability. So why do you want Hasura connecting to your Snowflake instance to provide GraphQL data APIs? Right off, we need to connect to Snowflake. And this process is pretty straightforward. You need a connection to your particular instance. So you'll go into Data, then click on Manage to get this Data Manager screen. Click on Connect Database, then select Snowflake from the drop-down here. We'll be implementing a Snowflake data, and then I'm going to paste in my connection string here, and then click on Connect Database. This connection string is a particular JDBC connection string for your Snowflake instance, and that'll get you connected right up. Now here you'll see already, I've previously connected a Postgres database, which just has a single key facts table just to show that you can have multiple databases here. And then if I click on View Database, you'll see that I'm instantly brought to the Track Tables screen. And this is just Hasura's way of asking you which tables you want to expose via your GraphQL API. So in this case, I'm going to look at all of them and say track these items. So now they're all tracked, and you have an untracked and a tracked table, so you know which ones you are exposing or not. If you have a database that has thousands of tables or something like that, you may want to untrack a lot of them and just expose certain ones. Now, we'll bounce down here into these tables, and one of the first things I'm going to do is you'll see I have artist here, which has the name of the artist, and then there are the albums of that artist. So I want to add a relationship between those two and connect these two items. So I'm going to select album as that, and then we'll go pick artist here, and then we will connect on the artist ID and the artist ID. So that's our connecting column. And we'll call this album artist. So this is a one-way relationship up to artist, which makes it an object relationship. We'll go ahead and create that. And then I'm going to bounce around and go to artist, click back on relationships here, click create new relationship, and we'll just do an artist albums relationship. And this is going to be an array because an artist can have multiple albums. So I'm going to pick album, and then we're going to go with artist ID again and artist ID. Scroll down, click create, and boom, we have those two relationships that go both directions. And I'll show you why exactly I have done that now. And this is one of the great things about adding Hasura to Snowflake. You can have kind of a secondary layer that connects all of the relationships for your particular queries and such that don't particularly affect the underlying Snowflake data. So I'm going to now query, let's see, I'm going to use the easy way just to show you. Click on artist name, and then I want the artist albums, a list of those albums. So name and then title, and then I will execute that. And since this is the first firing of the query, it takes a whole 2 seconds to initiate. But once it's initiated once or twice, the connection is then made and the queries speed up nicely. And then you can see here, I now have my artists with their particular albums. Now here's another powerful capability of Hasura on top of this. Now let's say we have that query time, and now that the connection is made, you see that. You can also, we'll call this our artist albums query, and we will use this directive that we have called cached to cache that query. So now, whenever it executes, it's nice and quick. But if the data has already been cached in Hasura, you will then receive that cache. So it prevents a round trip if not necessary. Also, check out this query. You'll notice I have the relationship connected in the query here now. So we have the name of the artist and the name of the album. This is actually executing 2 queries. And it's important to note, we have the primary query here for the artist, and then it goes and grabs the albums. Since this is two queries, it'll cache based on which one has been cached or not. So if the artist query is cached, that's great. If the album's not and there's new albums, then it'll pick up those new albums and recache that query too. So great capability to kind of build out your query for your application or whatnot in GraphQL that brings these two connected items together in a simple query like this without needing to draw joins or other connection items within a SQL statement or something. It just gives you the straightforward GraphQL query. And then to boot, I've added the cached capability directly to this query, which you see right here, simply added with the directive @cached. So right there, just in a few seconds, I've showed you connecting to a Snowflake database, drawing a relationship that will give you the array of albums for a particular artist, and then also caching that particular query. Now, one other little thing, you'll notice that I've added this, but in here, we still have that other relationship that goes back to artists. So we can create a query that loops back around. And if for some reason you needed to do this, you can now see that this is AC/DC and the different albums are listed, but it also lists in that object the album's artist back nested too. So in SQL, that would be kind of a three-way join or a multi-select or something like that. Here in GraphQL, we've looped all the way back around to the parent object for that query. And you see it's still very quick, just a few milliseconds to get it done. And we have two relationships going back out and back to the core parent data. So really powerful capability of GraphQL combined in Hasura here, adding cached, and all behind our standard enterprise capabilities to set permissions and other things on that data. So get out there, connect up your Snowflake instance, and give it a try. Thanks for listening.